Hey everyone, you're with Matthew and Amy, and you're at the Hub, and you may not know it, but you're also in the Matrix. I love when there are experiences, little experiences that can happen that actually kind of bust your paradigm, like you don't realize that could feel as different as it does. Now, one of these things is to learn to make and spread the space in your feet, which sounds crazy, right? And the thing is, what's even more crazy, and I'll return to it at the end, is that it's also good even if you don't stand on your feet, if you're a paraplegic like me. So I want you to do this at home. So I want you to take your shoes and socks off if you don't already have them off, because this is going to be one of those experiences that it's going to surprise you. So I want Amy to stand up. I want you to stand up at home. I want you to put your feet together and just get a baseline of what it is to stand on your feet. Right, what that sensation is in an ordinary way. If you're yogis out there, don't try to do too much yoga, just stand there. Okay? And now I want you to have a seat back down, Amy. So I hope you did that at home. So remember what that sensation feels like. So one of the things my yoga teacher, when she's trying to get me I'm paralyzed from the chest down, to be more connected to my feet, she introduced something to me just called shaking hands with your feet. Joe Zukovich, she said, Matt, you got to shake hands with your feet. And I want to take you through that exercise, right, or this series of movements, and then have you stand back up and notice the difference. So you're going to take your left leg up, right? No,
left.
Here's what happened. We're mirroring you, and so she got confused by the instructions.
I thought you just didn't remember what your left and your right was.
I get that. That happens. I do that all the time. So you got your leg up here. Now first, by the way, I want all of you to pay more attention to your feet. Your feet are an underutilized asset. If you're walking around, you use them all the time. You put them in weird shoes and tight shoes. Come on, you got to let your feet breathe, right? Okay, so I want you to take your thumb and put it on your arch, and your hand over the rest of your fingers or the top, and start to squeeze your arch, and find that place where it feels extra good. Like I just hit the mother lode right there, where all of a sudden, and by the way, you should worry about that. I just said that because I'm actually paralyzed with a severed spinal cord. But this level of sensation and the relief, don't be afraid to feel relief. Okay, so now you're going to squeeze that like that and just get that feeling. And then you're going to go back and put your hand, your foot in your hand, and then you're going to grab here. You're going to grab your ankle. I just want you to grab your foot and squeeze your ankle. And we're going to do something just simple. We're just going to pull your foot, the bottom of your foot, away from your shin. So I'm pulling my hands apart. And then you push it in together. So I'm pushing my tibia and fibia straight into my heel, and I'm pressing back with my other hand. And then just pull it apart again. So you're making space where you never have space. You're always standing on your ankles, but you're never pulling apart your ankles, right? So you're just going in a straight line back and forth, right? And then I want you to re-grab your arch. Just feel that. And then take your fingers, and there's where the shaking hands with your feet. Put your fingers between your toes. And I know you haven't done this probably that often unless you're a weird yogi like us, weird yogis like us. And so you're taking this, and you're getting your fingers between your toes. Now here's where the grabbing of the arch matters. So you grab the arch on the top of the foot. And I want you to start to rock and roll the ball of your foot while you're holding your arch steady in traction. So you're just going to start moving it around, right? And then you got to go both directions. So you're trying to anchor, grabbing the arch on the top of the foot and moving your ball of the foot around like this, back and forth. And then start to spread your fingers and rock and roll your fingers. So you move the ball of the foot, you move your fingers, you're going in multiple directions, but you're trying to keep your rest of your foot steady. So your toes are getting moved and expanded in ways they're not used to. So you do that, and then you release, take the fingers out. Now I know a lot of you aren't used to spreading your toes. Did you have any toes that didn't want to spread as much?
Oh, always, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's going to get weirder. Wait until you do the other side. So do the other leg. We're taking our right leg up.
Should I stand up?
Nope. We're going to do both feet. Okay, you got to do both sides, or otherwise you stand up and feel crazy, right? Okay, so now you're going to grab your arch again. Remember, you're trying to create a baseline of sensation, right? So you're squeezing here and going, oh, don't be afraid of relief. Like, find the place that feels good and just do it, right? And just like, and then kind of move around a little bit and try to integrate the relief you might get by touching and squeezing together something that very rarely gets touched like this. And when it does, it releases tension, right? And then you're going to put the sole of your foot in your hand, grab your ankle, and you're just going to take some time to pull the ankle straight out from your foot, and then go back. And then straight out from your foot, so the tibia fibula being pulled away, and then back together. So you're getting this kind of ebbing and flowing in and out of your foot, of your tibia and fibula, these muscles in your bones in your shin, back and forth. Right? So you just get space where you're usually not getting space. And then take your fingers and go between your toes again. So now, can you tell one set of toes is way tighter than the other?
Always.
Which one is it for you?
Oh, my left.
Me too.
Ugh.
Like the crazy difference between my toes on the right and my toes on the left, it's insane. And I'm figuring you're having the same experience at home. Right? So now you're squeezing your arch still with your thumb on your arch, and then you start to rock and roll the ball of the foot. So you're pulling it long and rolling it around. You're trying to make space by anchoring and putting in some traction and doing a circular action on the ball of the foot. And then make sure you go both directions, which is hard. It's going to be counterintuitive for your brain because your brain gets used to doing one pattern and not another. Right? And then start to do it and move your fingers. So this one's harder for me. These toes don't want to open as much. So you're moving the ball of your foot, you're squeezing the arch, and you're moving things around. Right? And then release. Now, stand up. Amy gets to stand up. So do you at home, most of you. Do you feel a difference?
Absolutely.
So how would you describe what you feel different?
Well, my first observation is that they're warm and they look different. But there's a sense of spreading and lightness in the feet that I didn't have before. Much more awareness, and there's almost a lift up from them.
So there's a lightening energy that comes up while your feet are still grounded that you didn't have access to. And maybe it's all happening from blood flow. I don't even care about what the causal explanation is. But the truth is when you open and make space in your feet, you receive more of a rise while you're staying grounded. Because gravity's the same, and yet your consciousness is having a different, lighter sensation. That is another form of inner awareness. That is the subtle body. And the fact that it can happen as simply as making space in your feet makes me happy to be alive. It makes me that there's hope and nourishment that's waiting for me just around the corner if I'm willing to take the time to do something as simple as shaking hands with my feet. That's an experience in the matrix. Until next time.